I'm Juel Claxton, and this is FNN News. Washington, D.C., a growing battle inside the U.S. military is raising questions about who gets promoted, who gets pushed aside.
Breaking news from the Pentagon, where a promotion controversy is raising national security concerns. FNN has learned the decision bypassed key protocols, prompting urgent reviews. Our team is on the ground with developing details.
Tonight, a promotion controversy at the Pentagon. Is it merit or is bias at play? Critics are questioning the process. The Pentagon says it's about leadership. We investigate. At the Pentagon, a merit-based promotion board is underway. Senior officers review personnel files for the next generation of leaders.
Let's review the leadership scores.
At the center of the controversy is Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, whose intervention in senior officer promotions has triggered intense scrutiny from lawmakers, former military officials. 4 Army colonels removed from one-star promotion list. In March, Hegseth reportedly intervened to remove 4 Army colonels from a promotion list for brigadier general. That decision immediately triggered allegations that race, gender, and previous involvement with diversity programs may have influenced the removals. The Pentagon has rejected accusations of discrimination. A Pentagon spokesman said promotions under Hegseth are based on merit and that race and gender are not considered in promotion decisions. Critics argue that repeatedly reaching into those established processes risks undermining the military's tradition of professional, nonpartisan leadership. The controversy expanded in May when Hegseth intervened in the Navy's promotion process. ABC News reported that 9 Navy officers were removed. The Pentagon again defended the move as a matter of merit and leadership standards.
The Navy episode became particularly significant because it demonstrated that the Army situation was not an isolated incident. And the Air Force was next. Reporting in June indicated that 9 Air Force colonels had their promotions blocked, while at least 24 additional senior officer promotions were delayed. Those reports intensified concerns on Capitol Hill that the Pentagon was applying unusually close scrutiny to senior military promotions across multiple branches. Critics now describe the broader pattern as a potential restructuring or purge of the military's senior leadership. The administration rejects that characterization. Senator Jack Reed, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Armed Safety Committee, has called the reported pattern of promotion blocks and delays deeply troubling, arguing that officers selected by professional promotion boards deserve clear explanations for why their careers were interrupted. What does this mean for the military? The stakes are enormous. Senior officers aren't simply employees receiving promotions of dollars in military resources and help shape America's national security strategy. If officers believe advancement depends on political alignment, critics warn that talented commanders could decide to retire or leave the service. That could affect morale, retention, institutional knowledge, and public confidence in the armed forces. But supporters counter that senior military leadership has never been immune from civilian oversight and that elected administrations have the constitutional responsibility. So, is this about restoring meritocracy, or is it about politicizing the military promotion system? That's our bottom line. Right now, there are 2 competing narratives, and both sides insist they are defending the American military. One side says Hegseth is eliminating ideological favoritism and demanding a military focus exclusively on combat readiness. The other warns that selectively removing officers from professionally vetted promotion lists could undermine the very merit-based system the administration says it wants to protect, and with promotion decisions continuing to move through the presidential and congressional over. The other warns that selectively removing officers from professionally vetted promotion lists could undermine the very merit-based system the administration says it wants to protect, and with promotion decisional process, this fight is far from over. A growing battle inside the U.S. military is raising questions about promotions and political wins. The Secretary Pete Hegseth interventions have triggered intense scrutiny. Critics warn this risks politicizing the military. FNN News.
I genuinely cannot believe I'm saying this and that it is not a top-of-the-page headline story across the country, but the U.S. Army just swore in 4 tech executives as lieutenant colonels. The CTO of Palantir, Peter Thiel's company, the CTO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's company, and OpenAI's chief product officer and former chief research officer, the company belonging to Sam Altman. These 4 men are all now 1 rank away from a general, second in command for field grade officers. There are 16 ranks lower than a lieutenant colonel, and these 4 untrained civilians just leapfrogged over soldiers who have dedicated their entire career and lives to the U.S. military. Apparently, these men are going to work on targeted projects to help guide rapid and scalable tech solutions to complex problems. A sentence that means absolutely nothing, because clearly this is just a way of giving these companies access to top secret information without them having to go through any pesky background checks. And if that doesn't scare you, it really should. Because we already know that Palantir is building a massive centralized database, using much of the information they acquired from Doge, Elon Musk's foray into the American government. These billionaire tech bros are compiling lists of our most sensitive information, our tax records, medical data, bank accounts, social security information, immigration status. This administration is allowing them to build the infrastructure for techno-feudalism, authoritarianism in the form of data and surveillance. It is a horrifying and blatant conflict of interest that harms the safety and security of all Americans. There should not be this much overlap between private tech and the U.S. government, certainly not between private tech and the U.S. military. I do not know how asleep at the wheel Congress can possibly be, but they should be shutting this down immediately, and every single one of us should be demanding that they do it. The people who are using the government against you are now taking over military authority. The corruption is calculated and staggering, and I can only hope our veterans and active duty military are paying incredibly close attention. And now that you know, you should be talking about it.
Thank you. Let's go.